Han's heroism is questioned as he's accused of abandoning a colleague. Can he survive the judgment of his own past? In a populous area of Korea, a firefighter named Han heroically rescued a civilian from a burning building. During the rescue, Han's protective rope was damaged by the intense flames, causing him to fall from the building without the aid of a safety cushion. In this moment, Han experienced a rush of memories from his entire life. Miraculously, Han managed to save the little girl's life and regain consciousness. Upon regaining consciousness, Han immediately ran to check on the little girl's family to see if she was injured. However, he found that despite his efforts to communicate, they were unresponsive. Amidst the chaos, Han heard a distant voice calling his name and saw two people in suits approaching him with smiles. Despite his warnings to stay away from the falling debris, Han soon realized that the man his colleague was trying to save looked eerily similar to himself. Shun, a woman who appears to Han after his rescue, declares him a paragon and explains that she and Mag are there to help him navigate through the 7 trials of judgment. Mag, another guardian, adds that their leader awaits them at the gates to the trials and they must proceed immediately. Overwhelmed by this sudden revelation, Han retreats from the scene, watching his comrades mourn over his fallen corpse. In desperation, Han cries out that he cannot die as he wishes to see his mother. Despite his protests, the man's body begins to levitate towards a massive portal. Meanwhile, the guardians are moved by Han's concern for his mother. Even in death, they transport him to a new dimension where thousands of people are making their way towards the gates of judgment. Here, Han meets Rim, the leader of the Guardians who has aided 47 souls in reincarnation in the past century. Upon being congratulated by the leader for being a paragon, Han looks away and humbly declines, stating that he is not a paragon. They proceed to enter the gates of judgment, but instead of their expected destination, they find themselves in a nightmarish landscape of molten lava, known as the Mountain of Murder. Mag is stunned by their surroundings and interrogates Han about any past instances of murder. However, Han firmly denies ever having committed such a heinous act. Rim clarifies that even causing someone's death indirectly through inaction is subject to judgment during the trials. This could be the reason why they find themselves in the Mountain of Murder. Han is transported to a stadium where large doors in the ground open up, exposing a massive pit filled with lava. Those who are being punished make futile attempts to climb out but are burned alive by the raging flames. The prosecutors initiate the trial by accusing Han of failing to save one of his colleagues, ultimately leading to the person's demise. The prosecution in charge have issued a punishment for Han, requiring him to spend 5 years in the lava pit to make amends for his failure to rescue his friend. Rim has stepped forward to defend Han and is requesting a thorough investigation into the incident. According to Rim, Han attempted to save his friend during the incident, but they were unable to move a heavy stone that had trapped the firefighter. Ultimately, Han's colleague urged him to leave and prioritize the rescue of other civilians, as the situation was beyond saving his friend. As a result of Han's choice, he successfully rescued 8 individuals that evening. Rim maintains that Han's bravery in saving others should be factored when evaluating his decision to abandon his friend. After observing the man's courageous actions, the judge determines that Han should be cleared of all charges and permitted to progress to the subsequent trials. Despite winning the initial hearing, Han is deeply impacted by the memory of his colleague's death. He questions why the Guardians are aiding him, as he does not consider himself a model of virtue. However, it is revealed that the Guardians have their own motivations, having struck a bargain with the ruler of the Hell. Yamra, if the trio can successfully guide 49 spirits through trials and facilitate their rebirth within the century, they will be granted humanity themselves. The group subsequently reaches the Trial of Indolence, where Chun outlines all of Han's accomplishments. Throughout his life, the man has demonstrated an unwavering work ethic, consistently aiding others in any way he can. This includes actions such as accidentally disturbing a beehive, resulting in his team being stumped, or rescuing an irritable cat from the precipice of a building, albeit at the cost of damaging the owner's Lamborghini with his body. The judge is deeply touched by Han's numerous contributions, prompting her to demand that the prosecution construct a statue in tribute to the exemplary individual. During questioning, the judge asks Han about his motivation for living life to the fullest. In response, Han reveals that his driving force was solely monetary gain. After hearing this admission, the judge promptly alters her ruling, instructing the prosecutors to condemn Han to punishment. The punishment consists of a massive apparatus that relentlessly pursues and crushes the bones and feeding them to the fishes of those found guilty of indolence. The Guardians make every effort to assist their client and implore the goddess to take a more detailed look at the man's life. Han's reason for striving to accumulate wealth was to provide for his ailing mother and support his brother's aspirations of attending law school. Han worked tirelessly to the extent that he frequently neglected his own well-being, indicating that his desire for money was not born out of selfishness. Upon understanding the man's genuine motivations, the goddess concludes that Han is innocent. With haste, The group embarks upon a boat that will transport them to their next destination. However, their excitement is short-lived as they become aware of a horde of monsters pursuing them. The team promptly wields their weapons and valiantly attempts to repel the creatures. Although they are able to vanquish a significant number of the adversaries by dismembering them, the captain is eventually thrown off the ship and narrowly clings to the edge. Mag must single-handedly safeguard the vessel while enabling his leader to recuperate. In a last-ditch effort, Mag smashes a colossal stone column, triggering a rock slide that successfully deters the monsters. He then clarifies that this outcome occurred solely because Han's family perished and metamorphosed into malevolent spirits. To prevent further pursuers, Rim elects to investigate Han's family to find out the truth about what happened. Upon visiting Han's home, Rim observes that Han's mother is still living, indicating that it must have been Han's brother Sue who passed away and transformed into a vengeful spirit. The malevolent entity endeavors to flee, while Rim doggedly pursues. Rim endeavors to capture the spirit using his weapon, but the ghost skillfully dodges his attempts. In their ensuing confrontation, they collide, flinging Rim away and enabling the spirit to vanish, leaving Rim to search frantically for his quarry. As the Guardian tracks down the trail, he arrives at a military base where he overhears the soldiers conversing about a man named Sue who is labeled as a deserter. Rim's curiosity is piqued when he notices the captain and one of his comrades behaving strangely. To get to the bottom of things, Rim dons a disguise as an army colonel and confronts the captain about Sue's disappearance, accusing him of murder. To his surprise, the captain becomes fearful and tries to blackmail the Guardian, solidifying his guilt. In contrast, Han faces questioning from the goddess of deceit, who accuses him of creating multiple fraudulent wills and testaments for his colleague, whom he was unable to rescue earlier. Han gave these documents to the man's daughter, pretending to be her father. The goddess swiftly commands that Han be restrained and readied for punishment, threatening to sever his tongue. Fortunately, Rim manages to communicate with his team through telepathy and defends Han's actions. He reveals that Han also wrote false letters to his mother, pretending that he was doing well financially and living a prosperous life. Rim argues that Han's actions were motivated by his love for others, as he wanted to give them hope and a reason to keep going. When the deity understands the true intentions behind Han's actions, she forgives him for his crimes, recognizing that he never intended to cause harm. Following the trial, Rim misleads Han by reassuring him that his family is well. However, he privately informs his team of the truth surrounding Han's brother. Rim then travels back in time to the night of Sue's demise and discovers that their comrade, Dawn, unintentionally shot Sue after disabling the weapon's safety. Dawn immediately contacted their captain. The captain tried to revive Sue, but it was too late. The captain opted to cover up the incident by burying Sue and hiding the evidence to safeguard his promotion. Rim gazes upon Sue's lifeless body, but to his surprise, the man suddenly shows signs of life. This jolts Rim's memory of his past, where his own father suffered a similar fate of being buried alive. Meanwhile, Han has arrived in the Hell of Injustice, where individuals are frozen for years for neglecting to help others. Fortunately, Han's occupation as a firefighter exempts him from judgment in this realm and grants him passage to his next destination. As they travel in the cable car, the Guardians disclose that their memories have been wiped out. Except for Rim, Mag attempts to stop his comrade from disclosing any further information, but unintentionally reveals that Han's brother is actually the malevolent spirit. Upon hearing this revelation, Han's mental state becomes unstable, causing the entire realm to tremble and the cable car to break loose, putting the Guardians in danger of falling. However, Han manages to regain his composure just in time and offers to assist his Guardians. The trio arrives at the Hell of Betrayal, where a gorgeous goddess passes judgments on those who have betrayed their loved ones by imprisoning them in a mirror and shattering it, which causes the victims to suffer. Fortunately, Han was a model citizen during his life and did not betray anyone, thus ensuring that he is safe to move on from this location. Meanwhile, Rim locates the vengeful spirit in a nightclub where he is attempting to kill one of the soldiers who buried him alive. Immediately after, Rim pursues Sue and engages in a mid-air battle across the city. Ultimately, Rim successfully captures the spirit by ensnaring him with a magical rope and trapping him on a building. In an attempt to help Sue move on and be reborn, Rim urges him to forgive those who wronged him, otherwise, he would face eternal destruction. However, instead of accepting this offer, Sue is overcome with anger, reliving the betrayal of his friends who buried him alive, and he unleashes a powerful shockwave that sets him free. After consuming a large amount of alcohol, Dong has decided to disclose the location of Sue's body to his grieving mother, as he can no longer bear the weight of his guilt. The woman unfolds the map and finally discovers the whereabouts of her youngest son while Sue observes from behind her. The vengeful spirit approaches Rim and announces that he has chosen to forgive Dong, having witnessed the soldier's remorse and the fact that he divulged the body's location to Sue's mother. Sue implores Rim to act as a medium so that he can communicate with Dong before he undergoes the trial. He assures Rim that he will face the trials regardless of the conversation. Through Rim, Sue forgives Dong and advises him not to waste any more new tears on something from the past. At the same time, Han arrives at the Hell of Violence, where he must jump into a large hole to begin the trials. However, Han collides with a massive rock upon landing, but Mag manages to catch his teammate and land beside Han despite their efforts. Han accidentally collides with Mag, causing all three of them to fall once again towards the bottom of the pit. Mag rushes towards them, but Han grabs the girl and attempts to save her, much like he did before he died. However, they are stopped just before hitting the ground, and the trial of violence begins. The prosecutors accuse Han of physically assaulting his brother during high school. Han's actions were deemed especially heinous as his younger brother was suffering from malnutrition due to their impoverished circumstances. Despite this, Han never sought forgiveness after their altercation and ran away from home the next day, never to return. The judge quickly finds Han guilty of domestic violence and sentences him to a pit where inmates are constantly bombarded by falling rocks as punishment. In an attempt to save Han from being sentenced, Chun makes a daring move and requests the judge to consider the final trial alongside the current one, citing their close connection. The Guardians are aware of the risks, as they would lose their powers in the afterlife if Han is found guilty in the next trial. However, their plan becomes jeopardized when the truth about the night of the fight is revealed. Sue awakens to find Han kneeling before their mother and demands an explanation, only to discover that Han was attempting to smother their mother with a pillow. Sue intervenes, causing Han to drop the pillow and begin assaulting Sue with punches. It is revealed that Han felt overwhelmed by their family's poverty and his mother's severe illness at the time, leading to his outburst of violence. He believed that death was the only way to end their suffering, and this was why he felt an immense sense of guilt afterward. Han fled from home and never returned to his family again. Upon learning the truth about Han, the Guardians lose hope as they realize they can't win the trials. Meanwhile, Rim attempts to lead Sue to his body, so that his spirit can begin the journey towards reincarnation. Upon reaching the military camp, Sue is taken aback by the sight of his mother, who is pleading with the soldiers to locate her son's body. However, the captain of the army spots her and violently tears apart her sides before knocking her down, rendering her unconscious. This brutal attack on his grieving mother triggers Sue's wrath, causing him to transform into the vengeful spirit he once was. Sue manages to break free from the restraints and grabs onto the Guardian, throwing him away with tremendous force. He transforms into a giant tornado fueled by rage, sweeping up all the soldiers in the area and creating a portal to the afterlife. In his fury, Sue causes massive destruction, and Rim struggles to protect the bystanders from harm. Fortunately, Mag manages to enter the mortal world through the portal and attacks Sue, snatching away the giant statue and stunning him. Rim seizes the opportunity and approaches Sue, capturing him with a magical robe and ending his rampage. At the same time, the trial of Han starts on the other side, with King Yama himself acting as the judge. The deity accuses Han of attempting to kill his own mother and brutally beating his brother during a time of desperation. The ruler further discloses that Han's mother was aware of her son's desire to kill her but kept it to herself, causing her great pain. This aggravates Han's offense, and the divine judge decrees that he will be condemned to this hell eternally for attempting to murder the person who brought him into the world. Abruptly, the whole hell shakes, and Han's mother hears a voice speaking to her. The scene is heartwarming as Rim has employed his power to enable Sue to communicate with his mother in a dream. Sue apologizes to his mother for his brother, telling her that Han has been working tirelessly for the past 15 years to support them since that fateful night, out of guilt for his actions. To their surprise, the mother confesses that she has forgiven Han a long time ago and feels regret for not being able to provide for her children. Han is moved to tears upon hearing this, while even the king is touched by their family's display of forgiveness and reconciliation. The king realizes that Han can no longer be charged for his crimes as the victim his mother had forgiven him long ago. This allows Han to be reincarnated, and he expresses his gratitude towards Chun for guiding him throughout his journey. He then vanishes into the bright light. Meanwhile, Rim intends to fulfill their agreement with the king by bringing Sue as their 49th reincarnation. They head to the Hell of Filial Impiety, where they face several demons and fight their way to the King of Hell. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Cinematic Chronicles. We hope you enjoyed our journey through the story of this film. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more movie narrations. Until next time, this is Cinematic Chronicles signing off.